Hello, friends, and welcome to the Creative Ramble, a podcast brought to you by me, your host, Ross Pollock, in which two friends hang out and chat about absolutely anything. The conversation can go in any direction, so sit back, enjoy, and let us ramble on for your entertainment about video games, comics, animation, movies, and just about anything in the creative arts. Enjoy. Loving the cap, man. Loving the cap. What's going on?
Not much, bud. Just been trying to survive. Try to stay out of the hospital, which seems to be, apparently Tara's having surgery next month. So it's kind of like our home away from home. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my
but
God.
it's cool. We're cool. We've already done the COVID thing. We're vaccinated.
Yeah, all fully vaccinated up then. Okay.
Yeah, I saw this great. I forgot which site it's on, but it's a floaty, like one of those like big pool floaty type, like the bed type things.
Okay.
And it says, "Don't worry, I'm vaccinated" on it. And I really want like some of those shirts and some of that stuff. It's just like, don't worry, I got this. I'm vaccinated. So
yeah.
Yeah.
We need to come up with like a whole bunch of slogans like it's okay to hug me, I'm vaccinated, or something like that. You know, I need get free cuddles. It's okay, I'm vaccinated.
Free cuddles, yes. I'm very cuddly. So it's Are we recording? Or are we?
I just decided to just set everything to record, and then
okay, that's fine. I'm fine.
Whatever we say, it's there.
It's there. No, it's funny though. Like I went to my wife and I. If you look on Instagram and then on Facebook, if you're lucky enough to get on my Facebook, I've been posting a bunch of pictures of us exploring and getting out into the world, which feels so funny, like doing that after a year of not. And so little things like Tara riding the mechanical horse at Walmart. I mean, it's just fun to get out now. Like we took it for granted, the little things of getting out and stuff.
Stark crazy. Everybody's gone stark crazy now. They can actually.
Oh man! But then you go into certain areas here in Texas where they're very anti-mask, which I just we get into that another day. But we're at a mall and we're not worried about us, but we're seeing like all these people without masks, and it was so weird. And then we went into a comic book store, which, by the way, our town doesn't have one, so it almost have to go to a different town to go to one.
That's a crime. And you should open one, Eric. You should open your own comic book store.
Okay. Here's the thing, and I'm trying really hard. There is a comic book store here in town, but she doesn't really just do comics. But she's the last bastion of being able to order comics. And I'm trying to interview her. Like I'm trying to get an interview with her just to talk about how hard it is to maintain a comic book store during the pandemic, how hard it was, and how they're all going into self-publishing now. So you can't go through here in the States. They would go through Diamond Select or something like that to get all the comics from Marvel, DC, and Independence. They're breaking away from that, and so it's costing the little stores more money than it's worth. And so she's thinking for the first time after 25 years or 26 years of not selling comics anymore. And
oh my God.
So I mean that's crazy. So
it's a major loss. I can't even imagine what it'd be like for Forbidden Planet I know it's a chain, it's not really an independent.
Yeah.
But for them to say just have to close their shops because nobody's buying comics anymore.
They're doing a little bit better. The big stores, they get markdowns but they're fine with ordering. The problem is the little stores are having to, like, through DC and Marvel at some point, they're going to have to buy a certain amount of comics from those distributors. And they're not able to afford like 30 copies of X comic or whatever, because they're just going to sit there. And so, because like she does for me, the one here in town, I've been collecting. I've been collecting. Yeah, I've got props, and the listeners, I'm sorry, at home.
This is a video show now.
I've been collecting these. These are the only comics I get. These are the only comics. I can't see because it's backwards. They're the only comics that I get right now because I can't afford anything else. But she's having to jump through hoops to get them, and it shouldn't be that way. And it's like Mike and I had to make this pact to order. They're having Fortnite comics right now with Batman.
Oh my god!
And
what?
You get a stamp. Yeah, every comic. There's 6 issues. I think it's 2 months or 3 months. 3 months. They're doing twice a month, and it's Batman gets pulled into the Fortnite universe, and he can't talk. Like he forgets who he is, and it's basically hell. He has to keep repeating, dying over and over again, just like in the game, and he doesn't understand what's going on. And he meets Catwoman. There, she's stuck in it too, and there's like this kind of love thing going on. It's really weird, but I'm kind of digging it. It kind of almost has like a 60s like stuck in like like the Logan Z Run kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. Fortnite is hell, so
hey,
it looks like they're unifying art and the game together. So.
see, I will admit in our group, I'm definitely the craziest one in Fortnite still. I will literally go from the living room on my PS5 to when I'm going to bed, I'll jump on my Switch and play it for I say 30 minutes.
I have had some fun with Fortnite. My biggest problem
we played.
We have, yeah. My biggest problem with Fortnite is that it no longer has its own identity. It bastardizes everything else to get it into Fortnite, and then it becomes those brands and those IPs now become associated with Fortnite rather than the reverence of which. Well, I mean, H.R. Geiger is spinning in his grave at the Xenomorph doing the floss move and dancing. Come on, that's just outrageous.
It is flipping. Well, you know what though? It scratches that PlayStation home itch for me though. Like it's I know. I like. Okay, I love a good like RPG and a good action game. I will. You know me. I will sink my teeth into something like I can go very highbrow and with indie games and all that stuff, but for some reason Fortnite is that game that I don't have to think.
Yeah.
And I do, but
you're
I just
lost.
Jump on.
Eric, you're lost. I've been trying to save you, but it's too late. You're too far gone.
No, it's too late, dude. Like especially when they put this guy
G.I. Joe? Oh my god. Is he in Fortnite? Okay.
Huh?
Is G.I. Joe in Fortnite now?
Well, Snake Eyes is right now.
Oh wow.
And so I love running around. I know we talked about it on previous Creative Ramble. Like G.I. Joe was very like with people outside the U.S. is kind of one of those things where it's like yeah. But like, dude, it totally growing up. G.I. Joe, He-Man. By the way, another thing that listeners can't see. This is the new He-Man figure.
Oh, is that the new ones, not the originals?
No, this is the new one. It's even got like articulation in the leg and everything, and he can actually do the whole like power sword, look it up at it, and all that kind of stuff.
So he can actually move his neck and bend his knees now.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Batman '89 neck problem where it's like,
he turns the whole shoulders and upper torso just to look around. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I found it very funny. I know we're rambling and everything, but I found it very funny. If you go back to Batman and Robin, which try not to go back to that one very often. George Clooney,
Sam.
George Clooney has that. George Clooney like where he bobs a little bit like a bobblehead when he talks, and so
the Clooney bob,
the Clooney bob, and so he has the bat suit on, and he's still doing the Clooney bob, like it's still kind of like it I don't know, that movie.
That reminds me of a really funny. Did you ever watch Entourage, the TV show Entourage? It was produced by Mark Wahlberg.
Stuff.
The Aquaman stuff. That's really hilarious in itself, and we should really do a review sort of discussion on that whole run as well, because it is really funny. But talking about the Clooney Bob, it reminds me of one of the episodes in the later seasons where Stellan Skarsgård, the actor, plays this kind of real tyrant, egotistical, perfectionist director. Maybe based a little bit off of the David Finchers of the world, possibly, or the James Camerons of the world. But anyway, he's talking to the lead actor, whose name I've totally forgotten. Adrian Grenier is, I think, the real actor, but the character actor he's playing, I can't remember the name of. But anyway, he's talking about his acting style, and he actually calls out, like, the Clooney Bob has basically ruined every young actor coming after George Clooney, because they all do the head bob thing, and he ends up getting inside the character's head, and then he just can't act at all after that, because he's so focused on the head bob thing that he keeps doing. And then there's this whole scene afterwards of him walking around his apartment with, like, books on his head to try and balance to not move his head when he's delivering lines. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, the Clooney Bob will attack you. It is. Yeah. It's actually the other character in Batman Forever. It's just the Clooney Bob. So yeah, other than that, dude, what have you been playing?
I have been playing a ton of stuff, and I think this entire episode could just be catch up rather than actually having a proper theme or discussion. I think it will be. You know what? I have been completely addicted to No Man's Sky again. I got.
That's so painful for me.
No, it's so good. It's so good.
I've bought it twice and resold it each time.
And sold it twice. I know, but ever since so I hadn't played it since launch for the longest time. And I know all the updates that completely transformed the game were coming out, but I never really dove back into it. But then the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 came out, and then they did I think it was called the Next update for next gen. And I dove back into it just a couple of months ago, and I've been playing with my friend Matt, and I am stunned by all of the quality of life improvements, all of the new content, all of the more kind of guided mission stuff that you can do as well. They've streamlined a lot of stuff. They've improved a lot of stuff. There's an entirely new social hub space called the Anomaly. And it's like this Nexus space station that looks like a Death Star, and you can summon it whenever you want, and then you can meet up with other travelers and your friends and stuff. And it is unbelievably cool now that I'm just so addicted to it. It's the perfect chill out game where you're just going to do some farming, you're just going to do some space exploration. Oh, so good.
You're going to make me buy it. You know that, right? You're going to make me end up getting it again. And I swear to God, if I hate it, I'm going to come to Scotland.
Well, you bought a PlayStation 5 instead of an Xbox Series X, and you could have got it all on Game Pass, mate. This is the big, this is the trump card in the Xbox band,
It has to have
just
something.
Saying. Oh.
No. I'm shots fired. But you know me, like
you keep telling yourself that when you part with another $70 to play another PlayStation game, and I just download it.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah,
it's on. So it is on Game Pass right now.
I think it's still on Game Pass. Yeah, it
you know
certainly
what?
was.
You know what
I'm
I'll
pretty
do?
sure it is.
You know what I'll do? I'll go get a new controller and I'll play on my Xbox One. And yeah, I won't get the pretty thing, but I'll get to play it with you for free. So
that's true. That's true. At that point, when you get the new controller and you download the game, that's when I'll bounce to something else and I'll never play it again.
That's the thing.
That's what happens.
My God. I don't know, because like the core group of the Father Gamer podcast that's on there, like Kyle and all them, they've been playing Destiny 2. and it is pretty on the PS5. It is beautiful. And I was just like, I spent 4 years playing that game.
Yeah. And this game, I'm not going back. Yeah.
Don't know if I can go back. And I went and played a little bit of the stuff that I'd missed, and then on the PS5 it looks beautiful. And I'm just like, I can't do it. And I know as soon as I get into it, they're all going to disappear from it. Like that happens every time.
It does.
So
all too common.
That's why, like, Fortnite, I know Mike will get on, and I know random people will get on, and I can just I get it as whatever. And then the other games that I've been playing, I finally picked up the
Persona 5 Royal, is that? Yeah.
Yeah, the Royal Edition.
Good shout.
I had beat the original. This is the first time I'm gonna play like 100-hour JRPG again. And so but it is slightly different enough that I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is fun. So, and you get trophies again. So I'm cool with it. And then I know this game that you're like
Avengers.
I've been absolutely love.
Burn it. Just burn it. Okay. Here's my thing with Avengers. Okay.
The story is fantastic. I love the story.
Yes. I'll high five you there.
Story, the extra story missions are actually really fun. The stuff with
Hawkeye and Clint and the daughter.
Yeah, those are really actually pretty fun. Yes, the multiplayer is still run around. It's Destiny with less charm. It's pretty much what it is. I wish to God the stuff that you found and the upgrades that you found actually affected your physical characteristics, just like Destiny.
I agree with that as well. Yeah,
that would probably be more fun than just like these things that are just there inside the numbers. Pretty much.
Well, that's always been the biggest problem, and the biggest selling point for what this Avengers game is. In my mind, it should never ever have been a looter shooter style of game.
No, I agree.
Because you're playing. I mean, I can understand upgrades for like Iron Man, because that kind of makes sense on a technological level. It's like you want to upgrade maybe Iron Man's thrusters and stuff like that, but like to upgrade the Incredible Hulk's ribcage, or like Thor is already a demigod, right? He's a god. So like upgrading Thor just kind of doesn't fit right with the narrative of the universe, and there's always this kind of they're smashing against each other, and they're not gelling, and they're not kind of connecting because of I can't be invested in these tiny little upgrades when these are supposed to be the Avengers that they're already meant to be super powerful.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, though, with anything like that, with the superhero thing. Like, Batman's pretty easy to make a game out of, but, like, Thor, I mean, you have to put some pretty heavy enemies against him. And, there are times in that game where it feels just great, and, like, I'm doing the story, and that's pretty much what I'm there for, is the story. And if they can keep me invested with story, and they're doing events now and stuff like that, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm fine with it. And I'm really excited for the Wakanda stuff, like that, you know, and in the eventual Spider-Man stuff that, you know, I'm gonna get but you don't get.
I do own it on PlayStation as well. Remember, I first bought it on.
That's true.
I don't have a PS5, but I still have my PS4 Pro. That's coping well.
And oh my god, it is the most. Just, I don't understand when you transfer. It is you literally have to have the PS4 version and the PS5 version on your system, and basically time travel using a flux capacitor, and and then it's just. That was stupid, but like to play.
I hope they can sort that stuff out, because Xbox is showing them out. Yeah, Xbox is showing them up with smart delivery for sure.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, there's little things here and there that each one is definitely like better at, you know, kind of thing. Each system, but both of them to me are fine. Like, there's going to be exclusives, but right now how things are, it's kind of funky anyway with exclusives. I don't know. I mean, supposedly we're getting a remake of what's it called from Naughty Dog?
The Last of Us, the first
Last
one.
of Us. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so
that's a hot topic right now because it obviously led to the cancellation of Days Gone 2, and there's been a petition going around which has like 80,000 plus now signatures demanding Sony invest in the sequel to Days Gone, which I don't think that's going to move the needle in Sony's decisions at all. But you never know. Yeah. They did wind back their the decision to keep the PSP, Vita, PS3 digital stores open. So you never know.
Oh yeah. By the way, can we talk about that for a nanosecond? Like, yeah, sure. I was deathly afraid. I have so many games on the PS3. I'm still super pissed that didn't go backwards compatible. Like, I
know. I thought it was supposed to. I thought the PS5 was supposed to be like, or allow some kind of.
That was the rumor originally, and I don't know why it can't play. Like, it can play it through PlayStation Now. There's PS3 games on it, and I do PS Now, but like, and they need to really roll that into PlayStation Plus. That really needs to be do what everyone does, copy from the other consoles. Like, that's always been the case. Rumble, blah blah blah. Like, just copy this. Just give us something like the Game Pass on the PlayStation.
I'm sure they're working on some kind of equivalent. They must be. I'm convinced they are. But
I just
what else have you been playing?
What was it? Sorry.
What else have you been playing?
I've been playing those two pretty a lot of. Well, I went through and beat Avengers again, the story, just on PS5 because it is pretty. Like, I kind of wanted to see that. Persona, picking that up, they had a huge game day sale, and I literally had enough credit and at GameStop, and I was like, you know what, that's mine. And that game is so. Did you ever play? I don't know if you ever played any of the Persona games or.
I have. So I got Persona 5 when it first came out because I loved the style of it. I played the first dungeon. Well, I mean, it's not really a dungeon, but it's kind of a dungeon. And I was really enraptured with it. I thought it was so stylistically very interesting and cool, and I loved the narrative threads to it. But for some reason, I tapered off, as I do with a lot of things. Well, because I think other things coming out, and there's just so much to play. And when Golden came out, I bought the Steelbook edition version of that, so that's sitting there completely untouched as well. And I would love to go back and invest some time into Persona, definitely, because I hear Royal is so good, and it's kind of the de facto version to play.
It is.
So
it
yeah,
is.
I need to get back to it.
It's nice. I am still kind of wondering though why they are not bringing more of them out to Switch. Like, those are perfect. Those 100-hour JRPGs are perfect on the Switch. It doesn't need to be super beautiful. It just needs to look a certain style, and that style works really well on the Switch. That very animated. You
get away with a lot of like unique art styles that don't require necessarily a lot of horsepower to run.
Right. Kind of because can you imagine like Wind Waker on a Switch? It's gonna look beautiful. It looked good. It looked good on Wii. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just even Super Mario Galaxy, which is my all-time favorite Mario game, when that got ported to the Switch with that Anniversary Collection, that game really, I mean, it was stunning on the Wii originally, but it wasn't even HD. It was quite, you going back now, it was quite kind of rough and pixelated and stuff. But seeing that at a full HD resolution with the gem stars and like how Mario soars into each planet, that's a beautiful game. That is really the Switch's wheelhouse. Is really interesting art styles that can cover up a multitude of sins from a lack of grunt and horsepower.
There's certain games on that that would work perfect on the Switch, and I don't understand, like Jet Set and Jet Grind Radio. Those would work great on the Switch, but they're not there. Yeah. Which, by the way, they were on the PSP. Well, the Jet Grind was on the PSP, or Vita. It was on the Vita. I'm like, it's surely you can play on the Switch. Shenmue. I don't know why Shenmue's not on the Switch. That thing is not full horsepower. Yeah, and I mean Shenmue 3, I can understand why it was not on the Switch. Maybe they're thinking, well, since we can't put it on the Switch, I don't know. But also, I look at The Witcher. If they can put The Witcher on the Switch, which it didn't work that great at first, but now it works pretty well. If they can put The Witcher on the Switch, they can put pretty much anything on the Switch. So I don't know. I want more. That you're asking what I play. A lot of stuff I play are JRPGs and RPGs on the Switch, but like I'm kind of like doing that balancing act between like 2 or 3 different ones and treating them like TV shows, almost like, oh, okay, this is.
Yeah, you've done a couple of hours here. You're going to bounce to something fresh, a little bit different. I mean, I'm kind of the same. I'm playing a couple of different games. But again, there's only one, I'd say, new game that I'm playing, which we'll talk a little bit about in a minute. But most of the games I'm playing are actually much older games from the back catalogue that are just being improved massively because of like backward compatibility or recent upgrades. Jedi Fallen Order has a tremendous upgrade that now runs at that 60 frames per second with nice frame rate resolution. And what's the other one? I'm playing The Outer Worlds, which is that got a 4K 60 patch on Series X, and now the game just looks and runs brilliantly. Just having that frame rate boost is a massive boon for any game, and it's
just so many good games. That thing though that I feel like you're talking about though, like playing like Persona, and when we review games or talk about games on shows and stuff, we feel this need to get whatever the next thing is, and it kind of destroys sometimes the joy of like just sitting down and playing a long JRPG or whatnot. And I say that, but I'm also the same guy who's playing like a crap ton of Fortnite and and replaying through the entire story of Avengers. But still, I mean, I know I enjoyed that, and I know I was going to enjoy it again. And so I don't know. We definitely need to sit down and play things through though a little bit more. I know I do. I have such a huge backlog.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. And then I'll still go, you know what? I really need this game. And I'm like, no, I really don't. I have like 50 games that I could probably play. Like, I really want to play Monster Hunter. Like, really want to play it. And
it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
But that's also one of those games that I really want to play with friends. And I have a feeling once I jump on, they're all going to be gone.
Sean won't be. Sean will still be playing it. Don't worry.
Sean will still be playing it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I get Monster Hunter and I get what's it called? Gone. No
Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I get that, I can play with Matt and Sean both. So that's good.
Exactly. And you know what game I just picked up, which I didn't need, but I had to get it anyway. It's the next generation version of Judgment.
Oh yeah.
And so I started playing that on Series X, and holy shit, Eric!
Really?
It was a beautiful game on PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Yakuza 6, which was the new game engine, was a looker, especially during the cinematics, where it's that uncanny valley between.
Yeah.
It looks so real, but there's something just off a little bit. Now, it's the 60 frames per second frame rate. It's a high resolution. They've readjusted a lot of the lighting effects in the world of Kamurocho and the city streets and the character lighting. And oh my goodness, now it looks disturbingly realistic.
That's awesome.
Those character models, and it's it's a great game anyway. Like anybody who's played Judgment, it's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm diving back into that. And again, it's just getting a new lease of life. These games are getting a new lease of life because we're now experiencing them at a higher fidelity.
I noticed that GameStop and a couple other places here in the States are actually pushing that game again. So I'm guessing that's the update must be the reason, because I saw it in an advertisement for like their big, game flyer for the week the other day. I was like, wow, right. Judgment's in there and it's like full price, but it's crazy. Like, that game is so good. You know me and the whole Yakuza series.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Did I mention Did I mention that all the Yakuza games are on Game Pass for anybody listening who's thinking about checking them out?
I know.
You can play all of them.
I do own them all already. Speaking of games, though, that I'm really shocked aren't on Switch either. Like, those would be perfect.
They would.
Especially since they didn't really like the 4, 5, and 4. No, what is it? 3, 4, and 5 that they released together. And
the Kiwami kind of remaster collection. That's right. Yeah,
those are just like basic slight upgrades from the original. Those would be fine on the Switch. So I don't know. Switch is all I'm saying. Nintendo, please do something. I need more JRPGs and awesome Yakuza stuff on the Switch.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Nintendo do a partnership with Sega, because Alien Isolation is on the Switch and it is a tremendous port as well. So I wouldn't put it past them to have something Yakuza related in the works for the Switch. That'd be something, right?
At least upgrade the one where they had the zombies and throw that on the Switch. Like, give me something. Like, I don't know. Again, I can literally just go put it in my PS3 and play it. But like, I like that portability of it. Like having the old school Final Fantasies and all that kind of stuff is great. And since now that we're going out and doing things and going places, I'm not going to be lugging around a PS5. That thing is huge. So
strap it to your bag.
Yeah,
like a proton pack. That's what it would be.
You remember Typing of the Dead? It was for Sega Dreamcast. There was a game called Typing of the Dead, and they had like Dreamcasts on their backs, the characters, and they had a keyboard that stuck to their chest, and they would type it. You would have to type in words that would pop up to kill the zombies as they were coming after you. It was House of the Dead, but reformatted as a typing instructor kind of game. And since I'm dyslexic, I sucked at that game. Like, I was terrible. I'd literally go here to my wife and let her play it because I was so happy I got the keyboard for the Dreamcast. I had all that stuff.
Yeah, I've still got my Dreamcast and keyboard and
me too.
Some controllers and stuff. Yeah.
Let's play Phantasy Star Online together. That's what we should do.
I think I've still got the AOL like boot up disc for the internet on it as well.
That system was so awesome. Getting online. Okay, I will admit I was working for Sega at the time, so I've got to say that. But the Dreamcast was so ahead of its time. Like playing stuff online was so weird and so great, and absolutely love doing it.
It is incredible how it has coveted such a cult fan base now, even with people that didn't necessarily even have a Dreamcast in the day or even remember it, but they're now discovering it and appreciating it. And that's why there's like this campaign about Sega needs to bring out a Dreamcast mini virtual console to market.
At this point, like
gotta.
Yeah. I would love to I mean, God, there was even the I'm not a big sports person, but even I remember putting in what was their version? I can't remember their version of. They had their own football, like for 2K, the 2K series.
Okay. The 2K series, yeah.
And I remember my dad walking in and he was like, are you watching football? Like he was more excited that I was watching football. Like, okay, American football.
Not
Yeah.
not soccer.
Not soccer.
Yeah.
Got to get in the van and play soccer. But no, I just remember that system. Like it made me fall in love with gaming again. Was like there was a patch where I just didn't play many games, and that was the system. Hell, that's the reason I'm named Father Gamer, was from the Dreamcast era. So I mean, it's
wow,
it's a very special system. I don't know how we rambled, but we got on the Dreamcast.
I want to stay on the Dreamcast thread for a little bit. So if Sega wanted to do, or were going to bring out a mini Dreamcast virtual console, not even a virtual console, the mini console, what would be your picks for the games to be on it? Like preloaded on it, and that's what it comes with.
I mean, Shenmue, obviously, because that's just kind of like, it would feel weird not having that. And of course, they would put the two Sonics, the adventure games, which love or hate, they would put them both on there. Power Stone, definitely.
1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Power Stone. Yeah. Jet Set, Jet Grind.
Jet Set's given. Crazy Taxi.
Why?
Sega Rally's got a feature there as well. Samba de Amigo has got to be there.
Oh yeah, they should put Tapping on the Dead as a hidden game too. Like you have to strap a keyboard to it.
Can we? Do you think we could get Marvel vs. Capcom series as well on there? Because the Dreamcast editions of those games were
the greatest game of all time. Seaman. I mean, you got Leonard Nimoy, the as the voice of Seaman. Like, by the way, another game I'm really surprised they didn't bring to Switch. That would be like, $15-$20. I would buy it on the Switch just to like feed my weird Leonard Nimoy fish.
This is a game I've never even heard of. You've gone like so far into the deep end of weirdness. I've never even heard of this.
You don't know Seaman?
No, and I go back a really long way in the games, my gaming knowledge. What?
Seaman was a weird kind of like Tamagotchi simulator type of thing where you have this little like fish that grows and he gets like legs and he's weird. He's like a mutant fish that comes out of everything, and he's voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Okay, it's slam dunk just for that alone, I think.
And it is part science experiment, part what the hell, and part okay, this is kind of awesome, but in that weird sort of like I feel dirty kind of way. But it was such a. I remember getting it and Tara being like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "I'm raising a Leonard Nimoy fish," and you have to look up later and take a look at like video of it, and I would love. That's the kind of games though I would love to stream with somebody else, like talking about it. Kind of thing, because it's just like it's trying to explain it. It sounds not as weird as it actually even is. Like even me explaining how weird it is, it's not as weird as it actually is.
Right.
So I remember going through the book, the little instruction booklet. I was so excited and like I don't know. I was still happy when I played it, and I remember going to like EB Games or something like that, and talking to the people, and they're like, "What the hell is this game?" And I was like, "Do you enjoy playing?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I don't understand why. Like, it shouldn't be. And you talk to it. It had a little microphone. So
wow, okay,
yeah, this was a weird. Like, Sega was throwing everything at the wall, like with this system, and there was some weird shit that was just like, what the hell, like.
Well, they're getting their lunch eaten by PlayStation with the PS1, just snowballing and everything, and then hype building for the PlayStation 2 as well, which was about to come out.
Like I remember though, like there were so many like games that actually didn't make it out because they were just getting their pants beaten, and it was sad because like I got to play a few games that never saw the light of day, and they were fantastic. There was one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like they were going to port it to the Xbox, and it still didn't do it, but it was like it was like World of Warcraft meets The Sims meets like the what was that game where everybody was? It was almost like PlayStation Home, True Life or Second Life. It was kind of like a mix of all those. But you could design your own weapons, and like I designed this one. It was like a Texas flag and everything, and you could sell it. You could set up a stall and sell your weapons, and real people would come up and could buy them. And then sometime when you're in a party, like later on, like in the game, you randomly go up to a party, they could have one of your weapons.
Right.
And you would see like, oh my God, he's got a Texas. That's my weapon. He bought, like somebody traded him or he bought it or whatever. And that stuff is kind of cool. I liked some kind of stuff like that inside a game. And there was so many games like that had really cool stuff that just got canceled because that system just,
yeah. Damn. Well,
I still love the Dreamcast. I'm glad to see people are finding how awesome it was. Because I mean, really, when people talk old school games, they usually talk, Genesis or Nintendo of some kind, or
the Dreamcast does, and those kind of conversations, it does kind of get forgotten about sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, Christ, the Dreamcast, rather than the go to like retro console, or they only fixate on Nintendo consoles because they're the easy ones to think about retro games for. But,
I mean, even PlayStation 1 doesn't get the credit I think it deserves. Like, there's so many. I mean, you got a mini at least, but there's so many games that like that was the other thing that brought me back to gaming too. Was like the those JRPGs like Final Fantasy on there and whatnot. Those big stories. That system was loaded with JRPGs and RPGs and a really good Spider-Man game. So.
We just had to wait 3 generations later before we got another good one.
Yeah, unfortunately. Thank God it feels like it's in the right hands now, though. Like, I am such a fan of. Well, everyone knows that I'm such a huge fan of the current Spider-Man games. So I think that's part of it too. Is like with the Avengers game, whether they say it or not, in my mind they're the same universe, and so
I know, yeah.
I just.
That's interesting. Do you think? I mean, I don't know when we're now going to get Spider-Man for the PlayStation. It's obviously been shelved for quite a while because of issues, feedback, and the content roadmap. I mean, Wakanda's coming out at the end of the year practically, so it must be next year before we'll get anywhere close to Spider-Man.
Everything I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's even if we're going to get Spider-Man. Still, do you think we're still going to get Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, I think we'll still get Spider-Man. I think because I know the lead writer just left for Avengers. He went back. He was from Naughty Dog, and he went back to Naughty Dog.
Yeah,
and people in a lot of the chats for Avengers were very worried, and I'm like, I think part of the reason he's left, he's probably done. He's probably written, like it's already like written out. It's probably all.
Yeah, that's what's always quite funny whenever you hear these stories of creative director or narrative director has left the project. People's in a complete panic. It's like, oh my God, everybody's losing their minds. But the reality is, no, it's probably just his contract is up and he's done what he needs to do, or they've done what they need to do, and it's time to just like either move on or go on to something different. It's not that the project is necessarily in crisis and they're hemorrhaging staff or anything like that. It's just that the art's done, the writing's done, and then it's just full on production into like coding it and building it and getting that done. Getting the framework is usually done, so it's nothing to stress about. Hopefully, usually.
Yeah, I think they're done. I think they're done with probably the writing, and anything else needs to be done. There's other writers involved, so I'm not too worried. I'm really excited for the Wakanda stuff. I'm hoping it's saying we're getting complete new enemy types and that kind of stuff, and I'm hoping they've learned from the feedback. But I mean, if you have the game, I don't see any. They're all free. All the DLC's free. You just the only thing you would have to pay for if you really wanted to is the like the little card for each character, the new characters.
Oh, right. It's like the expansion card or
yeah,
pass
it's sort
card
of
or
like
something.
Fortnite or whatever,
Yeah.
where you pay like I think it's like $10 per character, and but you can get those credits in the game through other things. So I luckily had enough when I beat it to unlock those two characters. So I was just like, why not? I have it.
That's good.
It's that, or it's either that or buy cosmetic items. And I mean,
the only good one is the Gladiator Hulk, right? That's the only good one.
Yeah, but you can unlock him. So I mean, you can, and so I'm just like, I like that one. And then there's some other stuff, but they just announced that they're going to be doing characters that look just like the MCU versions.
Oh,
so
that's right.
When that happens, it's all done. Like I'm probably gonna especially since like even Miss Marvel is getting her own TV series, and then she's going to be in the next Captain Marvel movie, so she'll have a costume that'll be closer to the one in the movies and TV show. I don't know. That's another thing. Marvel stuff right now. We could really get into that and probably get into it more in another episode, but definitely we should talk about the two shows that we've gotten and where things are going. Might be fun next episode. Go down that list of everything that they're announcing. That's coming
definitely. I think we should. Yeah, because WandaVision is done and dusted. Yeah. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is now just wrapped. Channeling my inner Bond. That's what I'm and the Loki show is coming soon as well.
Which, by the way, I wish it was just called the Loki Show.
The Loki Show, yeah.
I'm excited. We're going to get so much MCU this year because we got that drought last year.
Yep.
That I think we're going to get spoiled rotten as far as stuff goes with that. Because I mean, I know there's at least 3-4 movies coming out this year, and at least 3 or 4 more series. So I mean, we've got a lot this year, and then I think is Venom coming out this year? I think it is.
Oh God, is it really?
Yeah, I think it is.
That wasn't even on my radar at all. I completely forgotten about that. But I remember hearing like who they were casting for Carnage and all the different headline stuff around it.
I'm interested in how they do it. I'm such a huge Spider-Man freak that I'm really like I didn't mind Venom. I know there's a lot of people that hated it, but I freaking thought it was okay. I mean, it was better than Spider-Man 3, and that's literally my benchmark for Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, kind of they're tied together, and then it kind of goes up from there. But we've also I know Morbius or whatever they call it, got moved to next year, and they're not saying they're connected, but they even show in the trailer that Michael Keaton's Vulture is in that movie. So I think they're going to officially kind of connect them with the multiverse of madness and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, we've got to get a Spider-Man and Venom movie. It's got to happen.
I think that's inevitable. It's just a question of when, and is it going to be part of the Tom Holland Spider-Man, or is it going to be when they inevitably recast?
I think it will be. I think they really want Holland to play Spider-Man for a while, and I think he's game for it. And
he's young enough as well to keep on going for a few more years.
It would be nice to see him go through college like he does in the comics and like become an adult. Like it would be kind of cool to see Spider-Man do that, and then you can bring in the Miles into it. The Miles, you can bring Miles into it, and even now that you're doing the multiverse of madness stuff for we're bringing a multiverse thing. I mean, you could bring in Spider-Gwen and all those characters. I mean, God, that would be the freakiest thing, though, to see a live-action Spider-Ham. So,
is the world ready for that? Would it be like a Space Jam sort of scenario, or would it be like a Pokemon kind of scenario?
I don't know. I do think we at least need one picture of, if it's true that we're going to get more than one Spider-Man in the next Spider-Man movie, they need at least one scene where they're pointing at each other, like the Spider-Man meme. Like that has to happen at least once. I don't know. I'm excited.
I tell you what, if they do the multiple spiders, I don't know. I hope that they get Nicolas Cage in to be the noir.
Oh, Spider Noir?
Yeah. From
that
Spider-Verse, that'd be awesome.
Speaking of which, next episode I have a movie that I want to talk about that he's in, and it's I will definitely that's pin that. We'll talk about it next episode. But he's in a really funny horror movie out right now, and it's like Chuck E. Cheese or something like that goes haywire, and it's like Chuck E. Cheese meets Evil Dead.
Yeah, is that the one where he's like in a shopping mall or something, and it turns into like a slasher?
No, it's like a restaurant, and he's supposed to be working there, and they're trying to kill him, and he's still cleaning the place, and they were like, the tagline is that they should be afraid of him or something like that. Like he's kind of a badass, so he's as most Nicolas Cage as you can get. There's also another movie called P.G. Gorman that I want to talk about. It's a very 80s, 90s inspired movie where these kids basically get control of this demon multi-beast, and it looks like it looks so cheesy, but it's got like a 98 on Rotten Tomato.
Wow. Okay, it's fresh then. Okay.
Yeah. So it looks, even the bad guys, they look like almost Power Ranger bad guys that he fights and stuff. But it's so good. And the last movie is Freaky, which I will talk about that for a second. That is a really fun movie.
What's that?
It's Vince Vaughn, where it's called Freaky. He swaps bodies. He's a serial killer, almost like a Michael Myers type of character.
Right.
And he swaps bodies with this 17-year-old girl through like a Freaky Friday type incident. And so he's like a 17-year-old girl in Vince Vaughn's body, essentially. And Vince Vaughn's having to act like her. And it's funny, and it's gory, it's violent, but it's so flippin' funny. Like it's definitely it's the same guy who did Happy Death Day, which I don't know if you've ever seen that or not.
No, not from over that either.
Happy Death Day and Happy Death, there's two of them. The girl in that movie, she it's like Groundhog Day. This guy likes to mix things. It's basically like Groundhog's Day. She's a college student and has to keep reliving getting killed over and over again by this murderer, and she's trying to figure out who's killing her. And it's really funny. Like, it is definitely a horror comedy. And the second one goes into sci-fi territory. And both recommend Freaky and Happy Death Day 1 and 2. So.
Jesus. Lots to catch up on then. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Also, I've been reading these. They're I don't know if you've heard of these or not.
What are they?
Ronan Boyle books. Okay. So the listeners can they are written by Thomas Lennon. You might know him as Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911.
Yeah.
They are really, really funny, great books that I've actually really enjoyed. And it's hard for me to get into books because of the dyslexia thing, but it's they're really, really funny. I highly recommend them. So if you can pick them up, they're really cheap on Amazon right now. Poor Thomas. I have a feeling these are going to be those books though, like 10 years from now, people are going to discover them and be like, oh, these are great. And all of a sudden there's like movies and stuff of them. So yeah, people don't realize that he actually wrote a ton. He's written a ton of screenplays. He co-wrote the Night at the Museum movies. So he's actually a pretty good writer.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Way too much to talk about. So
that's not a bad catch up to kick off our proper regular Monday night broadcast. Then, right?
No, and the last thing, I have been reading these too.
Of course, your Star Wars High Republic. You've got books and comic books there as well for High Republic.
Comic books. I know there's a series coming at some point. The first book is a little slow, I will admit. The novel, it's world building. Past that, though, it's a great new Star Wars world that I'm actually really excited, because I don't know what's going to happen. Other than I know Yoda's not going to die. That's about the only thing I know that's not going to happen. And it's cool. You get a slightly younger Yoda too. So 200 years still makes him old, but he's not as old, and so he's pretty spry, and it's interesting.
He can still somersault and stuff. I mean, in Revenge of the Sith, he must have been about. He was like 700 years old in Revenge of the Sith, right? So
yeah, something like that. So he's like, he's a spry 500 at this age. So it's that would be probably midlife for them. So but it's a great series so far. But I'm highly recommending them.
Thank you for listening to episode 25 of the Creative Ramble. We will be back next Tuesday with more ramblings. Until next time, take care.